Okay. So I I had some technical issues. I think that most of the people are watching the live on the wrong URL. That was the one I planned to use, but for some reason my live stream software disconnected to that live, and I needed to start a new one, basically. So I wrote a text in the chat, but I don't know if you guys read it, because I don't see. I see people waiting for the live, but not replying to the messages. Anyway, let's try to do that, and hopefully. Okay. So now I am live, and well, let me check here. Okay. I'm not even sure if things are working actually, but okay. So I'm checking with my phone, and apparently on the new link I sent to the old live chat, everything seems to work. Let me make a test. What if I change this and this? Okay. Yep. Yes, there is some delay, but it is working. So again, sorry for that. If you are still on the old URL, please look at the chat, because you will see the link to the new URL you can use to watch the chat. Okay, at the live. Okay, now I see some comments. Thank you. So sorry for this. It's part of the live. I was up to telling you why I decided to do this live and not pre-recorded, and one of the reasons was because I I like the fact that the live show is a little bit unpredictable, so maybe something can happen and I need to take care of it while it happens. And actually we had problem of the show. So well, next time I try to see if why the system disconnected to the original live URL. I'm still a beginner when it comes to live streaming, so forgive me. Well, welcome anyway. This is the first episode of this new series, Feature Showcase Live. You know that in this channel, we have several kind of videos. We have the classic how to build an application with Databig videos, where you can see from the beginning to the end how, for example, to build a CRM application or a help desk application, an inventory system application. So that is a kind of video. Another type of video is the feature showcase. In fact, there was already a season a couple of years ago. In that case, it was not live, so it was pre-recorded. And with feature showcase, basically I focus on a specific feature of Databig, and I try to tell you everything you need to know about that specific feature. Okay. So in this case, the very first episode is about the beta development mode. That is a new feature introduced in Databig 12 Avito, this new major release of Databig that has been released 2-3 weeks ago. After, the first major release after almost 3 years. So if you still don't have it, well, let me show you the URL, databig.com/download, if you want to get the latest release of Databig. And well, as I said, as I was saying, we had already a feature showcase season a couple of years ago, but since Databig 12 is very different in terms of interface, I decided that it was time to start again this kind of video with a new season, because, well, first of all, we have a new interface, so I like to show the features in the new Databig. Second, there are features like the one we discussed today that we obviously never discussed before, because they weren't available in the previous releases of Databig, and also because there are features that even if they were available, we never properly discuss in a video. For example, I'm thinking about Excel and CSV import. That is a feature that potentially has a lot of things to say, and there's no video, no tutorials about it. So it will become part of this season for sure. Okay. So I was saying, why live and not pre-recorded? Well, as I said, I realized that I enjoy doing this live broadcasting very much. So I realized that during the last live, the one during which I presented Databig 12, I like, again, the fact that it's a bit unpredictable. So it's more, I feel more energy, doing the live show. That's one reason. But well, probably the two main reasons are, first one, the fact that if there are people live, I can reply to your question and change what I'm showing according to your questions. That is obviously something I cannot do with pre-recorded videos. And second, doing the live instead of the pre-recorded video takes less time. Absolutely. So, you know, if you have watched other videos on my channel, on the Databix channel, you know that I don't edit videos very much, so I don't spend much time in editing, but still, there is some editing time that is needed. So while I'm recording a video, maybe if I realize that I could say something in a slightly better way, maybe I stop the video and I rephrase what I was saying. At the end, I try at least to remove, you know, if I realize I made some little mistakes, I fix them. Maybe I try to cut parts where there is, you know, there are long silences, something like that. While with the live option, you know, I just prepare on a document is here on my second screen, the list of things I want to tell you, and that's it. I go live, and when the live is over, boom, the video is already available for everybody. I don't have to edit, I don't have to upload, I don't have to wait for YouTube to render it, to process it. So it's just faster, okay? Well, I'm not saying that I will just do live. Actually, I want to do live streaming for this particular series, feature showcase. But for the other videos, they will be probably still pre-recorded. So this is just an experiment. I think I will do at least 5 episodes every Tuesday. So if you want to be notified, well, you can, as you know, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified. All right. What else? Obviously, if you have any suggestions about, I already have a list of possible topics for the next episodes, but if you have suggestions, please send your suggestions in the chat or as comments to the video later. Right? So I think we can start again. So if you know, someone is watching this video and is not familiar with Databix, this is a channel that you know, for I think that most of the people who watch these videos are Databix users, but if you are not, Databix is a low-code, no-code platform. Is one of the very first one. First version was in 2001, more than 20 years ago. And well, basically, as other platforms, no-code, low-code platforms, you can build applications, typically internal tools, but not only, with little or no coding. All right. So yeah, that's it. I will show you this first feature we are discussing, beta development mode, using an application, an inventory system application, simple inventory system application I created in a, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours with Databix. So let me introduce the application in case you don't know it. So it's an inventory system. We have our products. We have the possibility to add movements, so in-out movements to for each product. We can see our warehouse with information about for each product about the quantity and the estimated value. Obviously, the warehouse is automatically updated when you track an inbound or outbound movement. And finally, we have supplier, understock products, and a dashboard with some useful information that are, updated when any operation is made on the database the inventory system is using. So, just to tell you something, because this is very important, about the users. In this application, we have 3 users. We have root, that is the administrator, the one that can also edit the application. And then we have Bob, the user Bob, that is a manager of this system, and the user Alice, who is an employee. Okay, so each user group has different missions, obviously. So what about beta development mode? So this feature, basically, we can say that drastically changes the way you test and deploy application in Databeak. Why? Well, because so far, so this is, let me show something different. Instead of showing just a tab, I want to show the entire window. Okay, so this is the application, and this is the admin area. So when you click on edit this app, you go here as admin, and you can change the application. You can, I don't know, add new pages, change existing pages, change the permissions, anything. So until version 12, basically, you could do your changes live. So you change something in your application, and your changes are immediately available to everybody, all the users of the application. But as you can imagine, especially for complex and critical application, this is not a good approach. Or you use 2 different instances of the application on 2 different URLs and 2 different databases. So you work on the development instance of the application, you do your test, and when you were done, you manually sync your changes. You apply the changes to your production instance. This was kind of time consuming, and also it was more not so uncommon to make mistakes, let's say. So now you can test privately your changes, not only test them privately, but also share them with some trusted users before deploying the application. And you can deploy with just 1 click. And you don't need any more 2 instances of Databeak. You don't need any more 2 databases. Databeak does everything for you. So basically, you work on your admin area in beta mode. So you set your status, your dev mode to beta, You do your changes, you test your changes. When you're done, you publish your changes here. Okay. So let's make an example. Let me see. First of all, I need to check something here. All right. So let me change again the sharing option, and I want to share this time the entire screen. Okay, so I can show you that on one browser I'm logged in as root. On one browser I'm logged in as root. On another browser, on Firefox, I'm logged in as Bob. And as you can see, I don't have the edit this application button, obviously. Okay. So let's say that, let's start with something very easy. So let's say that, for example, I just want to reorder the menu. For example, products, I want to put products here, for example, not as the second item. So in my admin area, menu and products, I move it here. Okay. I'm in beta mode. And as admin, as you can see, my application is already updated. So I see products here instead of here. But Bob, on the other browser, I reload the application. For Bob, products is still there. Okay. All right. Now, well, I've tested that everything looks as I want. So I go here and I push my changes. Well, menu, I can add a comment, menu, change, push, and okay, done. So I can see here the publications. So now let's go back to Bob, reload, and here we go. Now products is at the bottom of the menu. Okay. Okay, let's do something more, a little bit more complex. So for example, we can add a page. Pages, custom page, add page. And we call it, I don't know, admin documentation. No, manager documentation. Manage documentation. Enable. Let's say that is just an HTML page. And we write something here like, well, this is the documentation manager docs. Okay. And save. And let's say that we give permissions to this page. The admin group can see the page. The managers can see the page, while the employees cannot. Okay? Let's go back to the application. Here we go, manager documentation. I can see because, again, I'm an admin, so I have the permission and I see the page. But Bob still doesn't see the page. Why? Even if we gave the permission to the managers group, we were in beta mode, right? And since we were in beta mode, only admins and trusted user can see the changes. Bob will see the changes when I decide to publish my changes. Or I can add Bob to the list of trusted users. So, Bob, set user. And now, as you can see, Bob cannot see the manual, but he can now see the live beta switch. So let's switch to beta, and here we are, manager documentation. Okay, and then maybe we can publish, since everything is fine, maybe we call Bob saying, hey Bob, can you check the documentation? Do you think that everything is fine? Yes, it is. Okay, let's publish. New page, manager documentation. All right, good. Okay. Let's go. Let's go on. Next thing. Okay. Now I want to do something that is even more complex and involves several things. I want to add a field to a table. So, for example, products. For each product, we have a name, a category, cost, price, blah, blah, blah. So let's say that in data, products, we add a new field, review. Okay. Review is long test, nullable, yes. Here we can write a review of the product. Let's say, save changes. We have to deal with the permissions now. And for the new field review, let's say yes for all. We don't want it in quick search. This is for admin. Then for managers, yeah, same thing, I would say. Same thing. And for employees, instead, let's say that we remove edit, we remove create, and again, quick search. Okay. Form configurator. Products, review. Okay. All right. Maybe we can say that review is rich editor and save. Reload here. Okay, we have the review. Field here is rich text, so we can format it. We can do anything we want. I'm in beta mode, and as you can imagine, this guy, Bob, I was up to saying cannot see the review, but I forgot that Bob is a trusted user. So let's go back here, and let's remove him from the trusted users. Okay. All right, no review here. Well, of course, if I publish new field, Bob will start seeing the review. As you can see, in this case, I have worked on several parts of the admin area, but they were covered, they were included in our beta, let's say, I would call it beta bubble, okay? All right, let me summarize which part of the admin area, which parts are covered, are included in this beta bubble. So when I make changes on that, the changes will only be available for admins and trusted users. So the parts included are pages, menu, form configurator, permissions, even layout. So if I change something in my layout, I add some custom CSS here, I add the data grid templates. Let's do it. Let's try this also. So products, let's say that I don't want to show the classic tabular grid for products. I want to use a template. Maybe I just want to put, I don't know, the name of the product and the picture, one under the other. So I should do something like data field name, and then data field, what's the name of this? Picture. Field name is picture. Okay, and maybe this is a heading, H1. Okay, and here we put some BR. It's, you know, just a basic template in HTML to show you the feature. So let me show here. It is not working. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Not movements. Not movements. Not movements, but products. All right. As you can see, well, if you didn't know this feature before, data grid templates allows to build your own HTML template to show the results grid. Okay, and again, this is also covered. And this is also covered because if we go back to Bob products, Bob doesn't see the new layout. Okay, once again, we have to publish new layout for products. All right. Okay, so layout, data grid, well, layout hooks, here there is nothing that you can change here. Automation, again, this is something that just reflects what you have in your custom files, and we will talk about that later. DB Synchro obviously is not part of the beta. Sorry, I was thinking about app status. DB Synchro is also part of the beta bubble. App status instead is not. App status allows you to put the application in maintenance mode, and obviously doesn't make sense to differentiate the beta maintenance mode and the production maintenance mode. I mean, when you want to set maintenance mode, you probably want to do it on the live system, right? Okay. So export app users, well, these are not part of the beta, and well, that's basically it. One important thing, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. One important thing, when I was listing, when I was mentioning all the tabs that are in some way included in the beta bubble, I did not mention the data tab, right? Why? Because it's not included. unless we use a particular feature that I will discuss at the end of the video. So the data tab is the tab you use to basically change the structure, the schema of your database. So when you add a field to a table, that field will be added live. Why? Because, products table, there is just one products table, and if you add a field to the table, for everybody, the new field is available. Okay, so is this can this be problematic? In a way, yes, but not if you do things the right way. So before I added, if you remember, I added a field to products review, but before publishing my changes, Bob or any normal users didn't have permissions to see the field, because the field was in the table, but if the user doesn't have permissions to see, even if the field is there, still the user won't see the field in the forms and in the grids. So you are fine. However, remember one thing, that it's good practice when you add a new field, at least at the beginning, to set nullable yes until you publish your changes. Why? If you put nullable no, so other users, when they try to insert a new product, they may get an error from the DBMS. Why? Because they don't see the review in the form, so they don't add information about the review, but the DBMS expects a value for the review. Okay, so it's better to set as nullable no, and after publishing, if you think it should be nullable yes, the opposite. You should first add it as with null yes, and then eventually change it if you think it should be nullable no. Okay. All right. And what if? Let me drink some water. What if I remove, delete, or rename a field? That could be even more problematic, as you can imagine. So the best practice for that, what I suggest when you drop a field or rename a field is to avoid errors during the period of time while you are doing your test before publishing. You should put the application in maintenance mode. So you put the application in maintenance mode, you do your dropping and renaming, you publish your changes, and then you set the application available. That's my suggestion. All right. Okay. So this is one thing, but the beta mode also covers all your custom code. If you are new to Databeak, so this is the no code part. So you change your application just by configuring things, changing things, dragging and dropping things. But Databeak has a very strong low code possibility. You can add your own PHP and JavaScript code in some particular files that are completely separated respect to the Databricks core files. So those are files that Databricks never replace during upgrades. And those are files where you put your code. For example, the logic for calculated fields, your hooks, so a code you want to execute when something happens, something like that. If you know Databricks, you know what I mean. And even in that case, you can change your files, your code in beta mode. You can test your changes, and when you are talking about coding, it's even more useful, the beta bubble, because making mistakes with code is easier with respect to making mistakes with the admin area, obviously. So, well, you do your changes, you test your changes, and then you publish them. All right. So let me make some examples. For example, warehouse. We can do a very simple example, but obviously for any kind of code, the logic is the same. For example, here we have a custom formatting function that changes the style of this field, of this value, according to the value itself. So I think that is red if it's under 10 and green otherwise. Okay, let's change this. Okay, this is the code, my custom formatting function. Custom formatting function. Give me just a minute. Okay. All right. Okay. I was in the right file. Sorry. Okay. This is the custom formatting functions. So the file containing the code for custom formatting, but it's not the one you have in the custom functions folder, the folder containing almost all the custom function files, is the one in the custom functions beta folder. So now for each custom function file, you have a corresponding custom function beta file, and that's the one you should always use if you want to use the beta mode. Okay, so this file contains the function we use to format that quantity. If value is less than 10, we use red, otherwise green. So let's change this to 5 or 6. Okay, I just changed the code. Let's go back to so this one should now be green, right? Let me reload. And in fact is green. We just changed a little thing. Okay, but once again, Bob still uses the old version of the code. So 9 is still red until we publish the changes. So here we go. Okay, here we go. So now when you publish, Databeak replace the live custom code files with the beta one. That's it. That's it. And let me tell you which files are covered. I have a list here, so let me read, otherwise I will miss something. So all the custom functions, all the files in the custom functions folder. The custom functions.php file that now has a corresponding custom functions beta file, the one you should use. All your templates, you can, the PDF templates, I mean, you can create your templates in the templates beta folder and then publish them. Your custom PHP file, when you build custom PHP pages, entire custom PHP pages, you can, even in that case, you have a beta folder, and in that folder you have the files you need to use. What else? The custom functions.js file, the one containing the JavaScript code, and also the custom languages files. So for, you know that for each language you can add your language custom file. Now you have a language custom beta file. Well, you have to add it manually if you want to use the beta mode. All right, we are close to the end. I would say there are 2 or 3 things I still have to tell you. Obviously, if you have questions, let me know. So one thing I want to discuss here is this one: pull your changes. So pull, as you can imagine, is the exact opposite of push here. So with pull, we take the live, what we have in the live bubble, and we put it in the beta bubble. So when should you use the pull feature? The answer is basically never. So if you work in beta mode, you should always work in beta mode and then publish in and then push when you are ready to push. Typically, the only moment where you want to pull your changes is if you are developing an application always in live mode, because you can change your mode here. Maybe you don't want to go through all the beta and then publish operations, and you want to do things old school, like in the previous releases of Databeak. So you're working live, but at some point you want to take advantage for that application of the beta mode. Then what you want to do is you go in beta mode, you pull everything you have live in your beta bubble, and then you start from there. Okay. A couple of things I still have to discuss. One is something about having multiple users. So you know that in Databeak, Databeak is ready to handle concurrent users. If you have many users using your application at the same time, maybe working on the same record with locking mechanisms and other mechanisms, Databeak can handle that. However, when we talk about developers, that's not so easy. So everything we have in the front end, so in the actual application produced, is ready for multiple, concurrent users. But everything you have in the admin area is not. So, I mean, it would be, a rare, it would be rare, but if two admins are working exactly on the same thing on, for example, on the admin area, that could, lead to unexpected results. And this is, this is regardless of the beta mode. It's just something that is known for Databeak. So if you are in multiple, you are multiple developers working on the same Databeak application, so exactly the same application, you should not work simultaneously. All right. But there is an additional thing to take into consideration if you use the beta mode. You have to share the same policy as well. If you decide to use the beta mode, all the developers should use the beta mode. Because if I develop in beta mode and I don't publish, and then another developer starts another working on another feature in live mode, well, obviously at some point you will probably lose you or the other developer. Okay, so that's another important thing. The very last thing is about an additional feature. The UseDB is called UseDB name beta. So this is a feature available only with Databeak Platinum, and on the top of everything I've already discussed, allows you to use two completely different databases for beta and for production. Why you want to do that? Well, because maybe in the beta environment, not only you want to, test your changes, you also want to add, fake data that you don't want, the users of your applications to see, because they are just records, test records. Okay? So in that case, what you can do is you create a copy of your DB. So you want to clone your DB. Let's do it. So this is my DB. This is PHP MyAdmin. The DB is called Data Inventory. Operations. Copy. Data Inventory Beta. Let's call it Data Inventory Beta and go. Okay, now we have an exact copy of the database. In my config custom.php, I'm gonna add useDB name beta equal to 1, and DB name beta is Data Inventory Beta. So now admins and trusted users will use that database even for, you know, the actual data. So, well, for example, products. Let's create a new product. I call it test, category phones 11, 12, whatever, and save. So we have this test product, right? But this record is in the products table of the beta database. So Bob doesn't see it. So in fact, Bob's has only 6 items, while Root has 7 items. Okay? And that's it. And remember, when I publish here, so if I go here and I publish my changes, I'm not publishing the data. The fake data will still be only in the beta database. I will only publish, you know, all the changes I did on the admin area, I mean the one covered in the beta bubble, and the changes in my custom code. So everything else is exactly as I explained in the, you know, standard beta mode. In addition to that, for the actual database, so all the tables you have here, you have 2 different databases. So this well, if you use this additional feature, you have to change something in the process I explained before, when you want to add, modify, or delete a field. Because as you can imagine, now, you know, before I said that when I add, delete, or modify a field on the database schema, not on the form configurator, in database schema, my modifications are immediately available live because there is just one database. But now it's not like that. So if I add a field to products, for example, what I have to do? Well, in this case, if you use the BetaDB, probably the best thing you can do is to use the maintenance mode when you add a field to a table, when you modify, and when you delete. Okay? And, you know, you do your things, you do your changes, you add, delete, or rename field. I said modify before, but I meant rename. But also if you modify the field type, this is also something you should take into consideration. You do your changes, you publish, but before publishing, you should put the application in maintenance mode, because after publishing, you should also synchronize, add the changes to your live DB. Okay, because otherwise, I mean, all the changes will be available live. The changes you do in form configurator, permissions, layout, custom code, but not what you did here in the data tab. What you did here was in the beta database. So you have to replicate that in your live database. To do it manually. At the moment, that's the only way. So you go to phpMyAdmin or any other DB administrator software, and you add the field there. For example, if you added a field, you also add the field there. Okay, you have to do manually outside Databeak. Again, this is not happening if this is set to 0, because the modification you do to the scheme of your database are immediately live, just because there is just one database. Okay, and yeah, I think that's it. So it was longer than expected, I would say, but I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Let me show you once again the URL. If you still if you haven't yet downloaded the latest release of Databeak, databeak.com/download. And yes, I think unless you have questions, I think that's it. Let me check the chat. I don't see any question. So next week, still on Tuesday, new episode. Probably it will be about conditional fields, but I will see. And yeah, that's it for today, and see you next week. Ciao.